Well, you want star power, Brian? Is that what you want? You want the big names. You want the hits to just keep on coming out.
I think you need star power.
Well, they're about to give it to you. Because here came MJF and Adam Cole for a live in-ring promo. And folks, I just want to describe this to you. Adam Cole came out he's got a cast on his foot where he's had the ankle surgery from his big toe all the way up to under his knee. He's walking on crutches. He obviously cannot put weight on this foot for a shoot. And when he got in the ring, he had to sit in a chair in the ring because he couldn't stand up that long. And he's pale and he's dressed like a hobo and he looks 50 years old with the scraggly beard and the unkempt hair. And meanwhile, MJF, our world heavyweight champion, is walking with a cane because he really fucked himself up. Apparently, from what we heard on that elbow off the top, he's got hip issues, with not going to hopefully make him miss any time, but I've got to think that he needed the cane because you wouldn't be stupid enough to fucking go out there being the world champion with the guy next to you. It needed almost a goddamn hover round and have any kind of help walking. It looked like a goddamn the fife and drum corps from the Revolutionary War. These are their two fucking, I mean, my God, the only thing else they need is the heartbreak of psoriasis all over their body, and it would put them in quarantine. And these are the fucking two top goddamn stars on that side of the fence, the baby faces. Go ahead.
Should Tony have his team looking at various pharmaceutical companies for sponsorships?
No, I think they need goddamn long-term care fucking insurance. And maybe, the old folks home can lower their age requirements so these people can come in and play shuffleboard in their declining years of their 30s. So MJF, he did his babyface stuff for the fans, and he's trying really hard with this, and that's the problem because it shows. And then Adam Cole does seated story time with crippled Cole. I mean, the crutches looked as big around as his calves, and the same general ghostly pallor. And they're doing the promo. They're still Ring of Honor tag team champions. The world champion of the company is standing there in the goddamn ring, but they're still doing this thing because it was great that they loved MJF and Adam Cole when they were both healthy and out on the boat and assing off. But people get hurt and things happen. You can't grieve forever, as Lawler used to say, when they'd go to break after a heavy angle and they'd come back with, and now here's Sonny. But they're still Ring of Honor tag team champions, but Adam Cole says he's not even close to walking yet, but he's going to try as hard as he can, and he's going to come back just better than ever. And he's worried about MJF because everybody's after him. And MJF says, don't worry about me. When I was born, the devil didn't want the competition. And then suddenly on screen, the guy in the devil mask laughs, and then the blackout happens, and here comes Samoa Joe music. So you got MJF trying so hard he's going to have a hernia. Adam Cole looks like a goddamn coma patient, has just arisen from a fucking 2 years in limbo. The devil is still hopping in. We don't know who. Maybe the devil is Jungle Boy, because Tony at least thinks he's the devil now after he cost him all this embarrassment.
It can't. You know what? I think a lot of people were thinking that. They've been teases of it. Of course, he got not Max, the other one. Bowens got thrown through the glass. It makes sense, especially with Punk there now. I mean, all of a sudden, the guy who's the devil, the guy who drove the biggest star out of the company. I mean, it makes sense from that aspect of it, but it'll be a massive letdown if that's Jack Perry.
Well, but
Too many
I
people
know
are
that.
guessing it.
Yeah, and besides, he'd be a massive letdown if he was going into his own birthday party with his immediate family as the guests. But you got the devil popping up, and then here comes Joe. And, at least, I wrote, good God, a wrestler just walked in. Joe was ambulatory with no crutches, wheelchairs, and prosthetic limbs. And he came in and cut a wrestling promo that sounded like he meant it and wanted his title match. And MJF said, in response, blow me, and they bleeped it. They bleeped MJF 2 or 3 times. If they're bleeping it, apparently the network doesn't want it on television. I would suggest stop trying to give them any little more annoyances other than these record low ratings. And then Cole tells MJF that he should honor his word because he's not that person he used to be, and you promised, Max. So MJF, in the space of 20 seconds, then reconsiders and says, okay, let's do it right here, right now, while he's on a goddamn cane. And his backup there that talked him into agreeing to it at all is practically in a fucking wheelchair. But no, Samoa Joe, the only real heel left in this company. What does he say, Brian? You know the response. You've said it so many times. I'll give it to you. What does the heel challenger say to the injured champion who's offering to defend the world title right there, right now?
I don't want you now. I want you at your best. I want you to be your very best. I'm going to be there to make sure you train. In fact, I'll train you. I'm going to hire trainers to train you to make sure you're ready for me. Because that would be the only fair thing for me as a heel to do.
That's right.
We just said that we're sick of this. We just said it again, and they did it again.
I think he even said the phrase fully healed, didn't he? So there's no excuses. And then he said, how about World's End pay-per-view on December 30th? Maybe by then they've got time, 6 weeks, they can change the name to Company's End. And MJF says, okay, and they shake hands, and then they insult each other, and Joe says, yeah, you're my property from now on. Nobody's going to touch you until December 30th, and then I'm going to finish you. And again, what we talked about the other day, there are germs, there are traces, there is evidence of great wrestling ideas of booking in the past in a lot of this stuff, but nobody actually saw the whole goddamn thing or didn't see the buildup, just saw the payoff or heard the joke secondhand and couldn't remember the punchline, whatever, because they hide it in all the other ludicrous logic that nullifies everything. So the challenger, the heel, basically making the champion his property. Nobody's going to fuck you up but me. That's been done, but not with all this other chaos around it in this particular fashion, and with everybody except for the heel being fucking crippled.
Yeah, man, what are we going to get to? Who's been trying to get to MJF? Wardlow. We've seen Wardlow and Samoa Joe. We're going to see that again? I don't think so, but...
No, Joe's just going to run out and beat people up if they try to beat MJF up.
There's a few things to say about this. Let's start with the corniest part. Sorry, Jim. The devil, who took over the production truck momentarily, like the famous Max Headroom guy in Chicago, took over the production truck, darkened the arena, I guess? I don't even know what happened, and then disappeared. This really is their Black Scorpion. It sucks. Unless the payoff is fucking zombie Randy Savage or something. There's no way this is going to work out well, I don't think. Adam Cole, I don't want to see on my TV anymore. I don't care how nice a guy he is. I don't care how much Tony Khan personally loves him. Bad overacting, childish segments, the size of my daughters. I don't ever want to see him in a ring again. Can't stay healthy.
If you like Adam Cole, he's doing damage to him because people seeing him like this, feel like this. It's like seeing a loved one in the fucking, and on their deathbed.
You know, I think they got into a little bit of a trap where with the MJF Adam Cole stuff, it started getting over, and they kind of embraced the silliness of it and went as far with it as they, well, I don't even know if as far as they could, but they went far with it.
They went farther than they should have.
Instead of making it serious and see where it would go. And now we're in this trap of bad WWE-esque comedy. Not even modern WWE, old WWE-esque comedy and segments that don't end. The bad comedy. When Adam Cole finally turns on MJF, and you think back to their friendship and their relationship, it's all been childish. It's all been fake. It's all been, hey, let's go get a camera crew and hang out on the water in a fake way and have fake conversations and talk on video screens. Like
neither one ever in a legitimate, realistic-looking angle or match or whatever ever saved the other from horrible doom. All we remember is the goddamn bad buddy comedies from the wannabe film school students.
Orndorff was a heel at WrestleMania 1. Turned babyface shortly after it because Piper and Orton turned on him, obviously, but also he fired Bobby Heenan, who was never even his manager at that point. And he had like a 1-year run, or a little more than a year as a babyface. In that 1 year, fans believed that him and Hogan were friends. They had just been on the opposite side of things, but it had a year to play out, and they were allies, and Orndorff was on the side of the babyfaces. He turned on Hogan less than a year and a half after he'd been a heel, and it was the biggest thing. Literally, it was the biggest thing business-wise in the history of WWF up to that point. Still the most successful house show run, maybe. I don't know about that. You may know better than me that versus anything in the Austin era.
No, it was the most successful adjusted for the difference in era.
But it was two adults, even though Hogan was a ridiculous cartoon character. It was two adults that you believe probably had some kind of friendship, having something where there's some heat there. When Adam Cole turns on MJF, and all of a sudden is a heel again, it can't negate all of this. Him being a dastardly heel will never feel believable. And all of this won't feel believable, because it doesn't. Or the other option is MJF turns and goes back to being a full heel, in which case you have to ask what all of this is all for in the first place.
Well, and if they're banking on keeping this going until Adam Cole is ready to wrestle or do something physical, then that's already bad because it's apparently going to be a while. And unfortunately, MJF may not survive this pandering, childish. Again, we said it all, and we'll move on after I say this. I'll recap what we said the other day. If this MJF was the first MJF that people were exposed to on television, would he be getting over? Would he have gotten over like he fucking did as the real MJF when we first saw him? And our mutual answer was, fuck no. The only reason that they like this MJF at all is because they loved the previous MJF. And the longer we see this MJF, I'm afraid the more he's going to wear on people, where it's going to diminish that.
Well, the other problem is they're chasing any reaction. So the crowds are smaller than they've been for AEW. And the limited people that are there, there's a portion of them, you heard them on TV, that'll yell, Adam! They're into that. That's a very small part of the AEW audience right now, but they're the ones still going and making noise. So they're catering to the people that want the cheap pops, that want to be in on it, but they're leaving everyone else behind. And again, this is a time where you're seeing more and more of the people who attacked us nonstop for being AEW haters or whatever they wanted to say. They're now saying everything that we've been saying for 4 years. We told everyone it was going to happen. It's now happening. And people can't deny it. And they're pointing to this stuff. This MJF Adam Cole stuff. There's a portion of the audience that loves the kangaroo kick. There's a portion that really, really hates it. And I think the separation of those two audiences for AEW is something that they may be banking on the wrong side of.
The only thing I have to disagree with you there is I don't think there is anybody out there that's been saying what we've been saying because they don't know all of those words. They may have been saying part of what we've been saying, but not all of it. Our vocabularies are much larger than the rest of the podcasters.
You should see some of the people out there. When did Tony become a bad booker? When did this happen? How did this happen? Maybe the problem is he has too much on his plate. He shouldn't have done Ring of Honor, or it was Collision, or too many belts. No, these are all the problems we told everyone about from the beginning, and everyone chose to ignore them because they, as you always said, they were smoking the hopium. And the hope has run out. And now reality is set in. And look at the state of AEW.
They need one of those hope divining rods where they can find them some hope.
That's right.